Greetings from Cappadocia, a beautiful place. Now, the first question you'll probably have when you come here is, where do you stay? Because it turns out Cappadocia is actually a region and it's comprised of 5 different cities. I am in Gorema. It looks like it's spelled Gorem, but the E at the end is pronounced. And I recommend it. As a first timer, I found it very convenient. If you are flying to Cappadocia, the airport is, I think it's quite far away. I don't know because everybody told me it was far away. I actually took the bus. The bus goes right into Gorema and right into central downtown, and I was able to walk to my hotel. So very nice on the convenience factor. Gorema is a touristy town. There's definitely a center with a lot of souvenir shops, lots of restaurants, and there's also, though, if you take the time to walk around the city, there's some beautiful places. Some of the cave hotels higher up the big hill are absolutely gorgeous, and don't miss out on sunset, which you can see at the top of one of the hills in Gorema. There's a flag on it. You can walk up there. You have to pay 20 lira to access the actual area, the viewing area, or you can take a taxi there for about 115 lira each way. As I mentioned, I took a bus here from Istanbul. It was a long ride. It was 12 hours and the seats were not comfortable, so just something to bear in mind. And I got in at 7 a.m. I took an overnight bus. The other buses that were not overnight got into Gorema quite late. Now that I've seen it, I would say it seems pretty safe, and especially if you were staying at a hotel near the bus station, I feel very safe here. But I didn't know that, so I wanted to get here during daylight hours. And I got in at 7 a.m. and the room was not ready till 2 p.m. And since I didn't sleep well on the bus, it was a little bit rough waiting for my room to be ready, but it worked out. And as you can see, it is worth the wait. I'm filming from the Pashahan Hotel, and most of the hotels have these beautiful sitting areas outside, which you can enjoy. You can view the balloons, I believe, from your hotel little balcony area, but I recommend going out and seeing the balloons live in person. I'm wearing a headscarf, as you can see, and I wanted to just see what it was like to wear it, and it turns out it's very comfortable in the hot weather. It's really nice, keeps my hair completely out of my way, and it's not as hot as a hat, which is really nice. While I have been in Cappadocia, I did 5 activities. I did them all through Excursion Mania, and I highly recommend them. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one and show you the amazing time that I had while I was in Cappadocia. The first activity I did was the day I arrived. So remember, I'm completely exhausted. I got a quick nap in at around 2 o'clock. I got picked up at 5 o'clock for the sunset ATV experience. Now, this is like buggy riding in the, I wouldn't call them sand dunes, but kind of like in these dirt roads. And this was my first time doing something like that, so I was a little bit terrified, and I did question why I was doing something that scares me. But one thing I've learned from my journey as a full-time traveler is there are lots of experiences that, like quitting my job to travel full-time, that have been kind of terrifying. And I remember that each time I challenge myself, I get to explore my boundaries, my thought processes, and kind of recalibrate and see who I am on the other side. So this was no different. Now, the guide on that tour was great at making me feel comfortable. I started by sitting behind him on the buggy, and then at one point he finally let me take over, and I loved it. I think I drove. He was going slowly to keep me more comfortable, and when I took over, I drove faster, and I really, really loved the experience. And to top it all off, we saw one of the most beautiful sunsets I could imagine at the end of it. So highly recommend this sunset ATV tour. The landscape here is stunning, and I've just faced a fear and rode an ATV. I drove it and was a passenger, did both experiences. It was great. This is my first day in Cappadocia. Can't believe this. Stunning. Made it back in one piece, yay! And I had to sign a waiver just in case I didn't. The second tour I did was up at 4 a.m. to go and see the balloons. I did not ride in one because, frankly, that was beyond my comfort level. I did the ATV. I'm like, I'll leave the balloon for another time. So I went and I watched them being blown up and then floating across the valley. This was not on my bucket list, but if I had a bucket list, it would go on there, absolutely. That was one of the most magical, beautiful experiences. I actually got to see it twice, and I you can't miss it. It is it's really special because the landscape of Cappadocia is so surreal, and then to see the balloons just hanging like lanterns everywhere and getting really close and watching them be blown up, and then when they light the fire to get it to standing, you see the colors of the balloon against the dark sky. I mean, the whole thing is phenomenal, and it's a definite must-do activity in Cappadocia. If this place isn't on your bucket list, it should be. Wow. One of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. The next tour I did was the Red Tour, and this is a great way to get familiar with some of the near surroundings of Gorema. We started with a visit to a local castle where it's basically like a big stone cave, and a gentleman lives there apparently, and you can pay 40 lira, which is a few dollars, to enter his house and view the rooms and see the view from the back. Really, really beautiful. And then we went to an open air museum which has both churches and some kitchen areas that are that have been carved into the cave. And the churches have religious paintings that are phenomenal, and they're so old that you're not allowed to take a picture because the plaster that they are painted on, some of it has already fallen. They want to protect it as long as they can, so there's no pictures or filming, but absolutely beautiful, beautiful sight to see. The tour included lunch, and we also got to see the fairy chimneys at the end of the day, and we also saw a rug, like a rug factory and a ceramics workshop, which was stunning. Honestly, the ceramic work was amazing, and I actually volunteered to go and try my hand at doing some pottery. I'm terrible at it, but the master potter helped me, and I made something shy of a mess. So that was good. was the green tour, and that was, we got a little bit further out within the Cappadocia region, and the tour guide joked it's called the green tour because we actually saw some more greenery. There were some beautiful lookout points, and we went to this outdoor tea area. We hiked like maybe a kilometer and found ourselves sort of, it's like the middle of a river, and then they've built this beautiful, the way that I'm sitting on these cushions here, they kind of have benches like this, but your feet go in the water, and it's beautiful on a hot day to be able to cool off and have a cup of tea or have a drink, water or something like that. And the nature was just beautiful to walk through. We also toured a leather factory, which included a fun runway show, and I jumped up and volunteered to be a model with the leather, which was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I forgot to ask someone to film it, so I'll just have the memory, and sorry you can't see it. And we also saw a jewelry factory that was beautiful to see some of the local stones. And at the end of the tour, we saw the underground city, which is one of the things Cappadocia is known for. And it was really interesting to learn about why it was created, which was in fact to keep people safe from marauders that would come through and kill people to take their food. And the tour through the underground city, they do warn you if you have claustrophobia or asthma, you don't want to do it. Now, this is one time, finally, being short is a huge advantage, because you have to bend down really, really low on some of the areas, the sort of tunnels to go through. So, and they were even a bit of a challenge for me, but the people that were taller, it was like really a challenge. So definitely bear that in mind if you are, I guess, as I said, claustrophobic or you have asthma. But if you wanted to participate in the green tour and not do that cave tour, there's a cafe where you can sit and wait for the rest of your group that does do the tour. We finished the day at a bit of a sort of local artisan shop that had candy and some beauty products, and got to taste a lot of fun sweets and have an interesting cup of coffee. And it was another tour that I really enjoyed. Activity I did was one of my favorite. I did the rent a red dress and go get your photo taken. Did it in the morning. You have your choice of times, but I'm like, well, if I'm in Cappadocia and I'm going to put on this red dress, I got to be out with all of the balloons. So it was amazing. It was so much fun. Had a photographer and an assistant, and we did all kinds of fun poses with the dress. It was just a lot of fun, and that's when I got to see the balloons again. And we went to a couple of different sites than I had with my balloon watching morning tour. So again, it was just stunning landscape, and getting to see that special moment again was truly a blessing. That's a wrap on Cappadocia. I highly recommend coming here if you do come to Turkey, or Turkey as you prefer. And definitely, I spent about 4 or 5 days here. A lot of people only spend a couple of days. There's so much to do here. You could definitely stretch it out over a few days. If you don't have that time, then I would say at least 2 or 3 days is a good time frame to budget. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you are interested in full-time travel and the full-time travel lifestyle, I am a travel lifestyle coach. I offer a free quiz for you to find out whether full-time travel is possible for you. It offers you a customized roadmap on how you can get started. The link is in the video and also in the description below. See you on the next video.
Ready?
Teşekkürler.